Even before October 7th, the Jewish Agency was providing financial assistance, long-term rehabilitation, and trauma support to individuals and families impacted by terrorism in Israel and around the world. Since the Hamas massacre and 2 long years of war, however, the needs have become even more urgent. It's my honor to welcome Ayelet Nahmias-Verbin, chair of the Fund for the Victims of Terror, and Natalia Ben Zvi, whose son, Sagiv, was murdered at the Nova Music Festival on October 7th. They will be interviewed by anchor Sivan Raviv.
Thank you both for joining us today. Natalia, I'd like to start with you. I'm going to ask you for your personal story. Can you tell us what happened on that terrible October 7th morning? When did you understand that something was terribly wrong?
It actually started on the 6th, when he told me he's going to the party. I said, no way, you're not going to. He said, by Netivot. I said, no way, you're not going there.
Your son, Sagiv.
Yeah, my precious son. And he went to work. He was a barman. He came back, had a shower, of course. And then at 2 a.m. at night, he knocked on my door and said, Mom, I'm going, but don't worry, it's in Ashdod. And I wasn't worried because it was in Ashdod.
Why would you be?
Yeah. I heard the sirens at 6:29. Immediately, I knew he's not home because we have a routine. He's knocking on my door when he's coming back at home, and he's waking me up. That's the routine. I'm a very polished mom. Mm-hmm. And I knew he's not home. So while trying to get down to the shelter, I called him. And he was already on the way. He was on 232. He said the party was okay. Don't worry, there's nothing here. I'm on the way back home. He was driving his friend's car, Ronnie Petovsky. And Ronnie was very drunk. So Sagiv drove. And I spoke to him 3 times that morning. Mm-hmm. The 4th time, when I called, the 3rd time, he promised me he's coming back home. I was already
very
hysterical. I can say at that point I was hysterical. I called him every few minutes, like at 6:58, I called and no answer.
Who showed up to help?
It began with the families and friends, all the friends. I mean, hundreds of friends of Sagiv and his brother and sister's friends. Of course, the agency and the Foundation of Terror. Mm-hmm. They called me after 2 weeks and said, can you give us your bank account? I said, who wants my bank account? Who gives a bank account? We want to transfer you money. Mm. And they did.
So they were very supportive.
Yes. And from then on, Ayelet and everybody is a big part of my life.
Ayelet, that's incredible. You're the chair of the Fund for Victims of Terror. And Jay, ready? You need a moment? It's okay.
No, it amazes me, you know. I've heard Natalia speak so many times, and I've heard Sagiv's story so many times. And, you know, unfortunately, we have had up until October 7th. I'm the chair of the fund for 5 years, so 3 years before October 7th. So up until October 7th, we had 9,000 families over 22 years. And since October 7th, we have over 10,000 new beneficiaries. And if I really want to be prompt, then we speak about, after Rising Lion, we have around 15,000. And that's without our rehabilitation, our group rehabilitation program. So it amazes me because I hear these stories every day. And still there is something about the way that Natalia puts it together that we, again, get a perspective of what we went through on October 7th. And before October 7th, we were also very close with our beneficiaries. But how do you handle the scale? How do you, the SLA, I come from the business sector, not just from the public sector. So I know how do you go about when you have so many new beneficiaries? How do you go about it? But it was important for us, especially for the rehabilitation stage, not just the emergency stage of it. Yeah. The rehabilitation stage, it was very crucial for us to make sure they know we're there, we're not going anywhere, and that's the Fund for the Victims of Terror of the Jewish Agency, but I've got to hand it to the incredible people in the Jewish Agency, and of course, the incredible Jewish communities around the world. None of the things that we have been doing since we would have been able to do without the Federations of North America, without UIA, without Keren Hayesod, without our donors who are not Jewish from communities all over the world, of course, our donors in Israel. How would we have been able to
help
come
us
to people like Natalia and, of course, so many other families and say, we're here? So
that's incredible work, and I'm very thankful that you're there to do it. Can you tell me how the Jewish Agency stepped in during emergency and how that differs from what it's like in long-term rehabilitation?
Of course. So what we did within a month and a half, we already distributed 6,500 emergency grants to families. By now, we're already around 9,000 emergency grants, bereaving families, to the families of the wounded, and of course families who got a direct hit. Something, again, after Rising Lion, after the 12-day war with Iran, I think is a little bit more, you're more able to grasp what it means to actually lose your house. But on October 7th, we had so many people who were assassinated that people didn't grasp that there were also houses that were directly hit, and of course people who were displaced. So that was the immediate thing. And again, we've done it before. So we were used to it, but who can be used to such a scale, And this is, for us, and again, this very, very small team of people. Now we have unfortunately, we have a much bigger team, but this very small team of women, incredible, and all my team, our team has the biggest heart you've ever seen in your life, Nahon?
Yeah.
Isn't it true? So
it's a second home, I have to say.
But the second phase is much more challenging, and that's the rehabilitation stage. Because again, with Natalia, this is where we step in with the $6,000 money that is not just money transferred in the bank, but is dedicated to rehabilitation programs, individual rehabilitation programs, and that we work very closely with the families to design it. So they can use it for sports, they can use it for extracurricular activities for the kids, they can use it if the kids need help with school, they can use it for specific things to do with their health. We always come after what the government gives in order to make sure that all our beneficiaries enjoy, again, the word enjoy, but it's that they get everything that they're entitled to, and then they can get help from us as well when it comes to mental health, things that are, therapies that have, for some reason, the government has ended them or ended the programs and stuff like that, and we can, follow up on that.
So we're not in post-trauma yet. We're still in the trauma stage. Yeah. And people need help, and I'm not the only one. There are thousands of people that are wounded. There are people that need so much help, and we have to raise up and do whatever we can do to help everybody.
Ayelet, why is global community, Jewish communal support so important?
First of all, the Jewish communal support, we couldn't have done anything that we've done since October 7th without that. But the thing I want to add is that our support is different than before October 7th, because before October 7th, we supported individually 9,000 families in 22 years. But after October 7th, we understood because of the scale, we need to have another line of support, and that is the group therapy that we are offering to not just the first circle of the beneficiaries, but also the second and third circles and the community itself. And it gives us a sense, that we can, in spite of everything, we can come out of it stronger.
Thank you both very much.